times such as this when we had known victims safe and the for sure known suspects in custody before we wanted to give out a lot of information on this case, but it is ongoing. And like I said earlier, unfortunately, I'm afraid there's going to be more victims and many more suspects. And these guys are diligent and they're going to run down everybody they can.
Besides the victims whose parents were involved that you mentioned, those who maybe didn't have parents involved, are there any knowledge of their, were they knowledgeable of this going on, and could any criminal charges be brought against them?
That is something that will be part of the ongoing investigation. I do not think that anybody that was not involved in this directly was aware that it was going on.
How many additional victims do you anticipate? If you have 10 already, how many additional do you anticipate?
There's no telling.
As I'm sure many of your investigators are parents, aunts, uncles, how has it been for you all on kind of peeling this back layer by layer and seeing all this? It seems like it's bad and it goes from worse to worse to worse to worse.
Absolutely, it's horrible as a parent when you sit there and you look at your child. I mean, I have a 30-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a 9-month-old, and I just look at that little girl and I'm thinking, how could you? I mean, absolutely horrible. These men have children that they have to go home to when they can get off from a case like this and be with their children, and I'm sure they just hold them a little tighter. And I know that those children have to just thank God that they have good parents like these men.
And were drugs involved in this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you know what drugs those were to use to incapacitate the victims?
No, ma'am. I think it may have been something, not necessarily a narcotic, more something like to make them a little bit more drowsy and a little bit more compliant for the ones that were physically able to somewhat try to fight back and protect themselves. But no, and I know that there was another investigation that was that had kind of crossed over a little bit involving drugs at that residence, and then we kind of had to say, all right, let's wait a minute on that. We've got more important things that we have to address right now.
And do you know who was getting the money that they would pay, who the money went to?
Chris, is that anything I need to divulge? Justin?
It was going to several different people.
I would say, yes, look at what's public information on the charges, and it kind of is self-explanatory for what their crimes were and what they were charged with, is whether or not there was currency or any money involved.
Yeah, correct, because one of the charges that I read out earlier on Trejo, all his accounts were child sex trafficking, so you can draw what you want from that.
He's not accused of doing anything to the children himself except for trafficking, is that correct?
Right now, that's all the charges that he's facing right now, which those are incredibly serious charges.
Right.
But as I say, that it is an ongoing investigation, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more that's going to come out, unfortunately.
Without divulging too much, can you talk about how the bestiality charge of the fourth man arrested plays into this? I mean, was it a part of this, or was it just kind of a charge that was tacked on in a separate incident?
That was something that was discovered during the investigation of the children by witnesses, suspects that were cooperating and giving additional information, so that's how that information come forward.
How were the suspect able to advertise, if you will? How were they able to garner so many children to lure them?
Unfortunately, animals like this, they do have their own network. They've got people that they can call. They've got ads they can take out, be it on any kind of social media platform or something like that. So it is somewhat of an underground thing, but it is well known. Not all the offenders were necessarily familiar with the people that they were purchasing the kids from.
And the house where the bunker is, I know there's an elderly woman, I think one of the men's grandmother who lives there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reason to think any of the people who live near there were suspicious of what was happening, knew what was happening?
Well, I think too, and we were talking about that there was also an ongoing drug investigation that we had to put a little bit of a hold on until we could rescue these children. I think that when you've got that amount of traffic going in and out, it's not unusual, and especially when the area where it's located, you can pretty much get to the bunker without a lot of people seeing it. And then, at night, it'd be easy to go in there undetected. So I think with a kind of a relatively heavy traffic area like that, it wouldn't be unusual to see a lot of vehicles and people going in and out of the house. But that's when it's good for people, if they do see activity that's suspicious like that, to please make us aware, because a lot of time when there's something going on like that, there's something bad going on behind it.
You mentioned criminal, gang affiliations, and this is kind of been described as a ring. Do you plan to bring charges under the new Alabama Criminal Enterprise Act?
That's something we're still looking to, working with the district attorney's office. And, we have other agencies that are coming in here to assist us. So the main thing we did was get the charges that we could immediately, get these people in custody and get them off the street. More charges coming.
Sheriff, is there evidence, I think you spoke to it, that this is linked to a larger criminal conspiracy or organization? And are there other agencies, federal, involved in your investigation?
Well, we've got Homeland Security investigations that's helping us, and to track a little bit more information on the one that has the ties to the, is it Sinaloa?
The Serranos.
Serrano?
Yes, sir.
The Serrano gang. And like I say, I think their main source of income is trafficking. So yeah, we are getting assistance from federal agencies to help us on that end, because wherever this guy come from, we don't know what he left in his trail.
This may be out of your purview, but when this is over with, will you have any sort of jurisdiction to get rid of the bunker just for psychological purposes?
That is something that I haven't even thought of at that point. I'm glad you brought that up. So we will see what can or should be done about that. If I had my way about it, we'd blow it up, but that's something that I can't really answer.
Can you describe what the bunker was like? I know we've seen pictures of the outside by now, but can you describe what the inside was like and about how large it was?
Well, it was pretty good sized where you could actually live in there comfortably. I mean, there was a toilet in there. There was a mattress they were using as a bed in there, room for some chairs and things like that. It's kind of a concrete block structure, partially underground, to where you walk around back and you can see it, but it's going into kind of like a hillside. And then on the top of it, like I say, it was like a pad for the roof and then a carport put over. So when you pull up and look at it, it is on a concrete slab.
The Hispanic suspect, what's he, or is he legal?
We're working with Homeland Security investigations to determine what kind of protective visa he had or anything like that. So I'm not really sure right now. That's something that they're running down and helping us to determine.
Going back to the bunker, just to clarify, I read reports of it being a basement that was converted into a storm shelter, but you're saying there was a carport above it. Was there any type of residence around that, or was it truly just a bunker in the ground?
Well, it was right there by the residence, so it was adjacent. Access it from, it's like directly. You had to go and come in the back of it.
And it was, just for clarification, this was built as a storm shelter and was used for this purpose. This was not built for this purpose.
No, ma'am, and that was one of my first questions. But no, I do believe it was built for a good thing and used for a horrible thing.
Where are the mothers of these children? Could she be implicated as well?
The ones that aren't in jail, we're still working on that, yeah.
It sounds like, Sheriff, based on what you shared with us today, this could be just the beginning of something much larger that he sort of mentioned earlier. Do you anticipate that this is only the tip of the iceberg, so to speak?
Yes. Yes, it is an ongoing investigation, and I know it's been frustrating for a lot of people in the media that we haven't given out a lot of information or come forward with a lot of information, but with the hours that's been put in and the urgency of getting these people before they fled, trying to turn them and not giving it a lot of attention so that they would scatter like rats, now we're to the point where now we've got to uncover the possibility of more suspects and more victims, but we've got the ones that are confirmed in custody and charged right now. So,
Is there any adults, we had heard earlier that the parent of one of the children had claimed that they were being trafficked as well. Is that a possibility? Have you looked into that, or are we talking about only children?
I believe that the oldest child was 15, if that's what you're referring
No, I'm
to.
talking about the mother of those children.
The mother of her. Ask me that question again. I apologize.
Any allegations or belief that any of these moms of the children might have been trafficked as well?
That's not something I'm aware of. Chris or Justin may be able to answer that question. I'm not aware that the mothers were trafficked.
Okay.
Just to clarify, the two women charged are the mothers of these children, or some of these children.
Yes.
How many?
I'd rather not say right now, like I say, because the children are, students at our schools here in Bibb County, and they've been through enough, and I just want to say as little as I can just to protect what little bit of privacy that they got left.
As a sheriff, said, can you speak to just the severity of this case, and has there ever been anything you've experienced like this in your time working here?
I've been in law enforcement for 33 years, and this is absolutely the most horrible thing I've ever seen when it comes to victimization of children. And like I say, I know God's forgiveness is boundless, but if there was a limit to it, I think we reached it. And I know there's a verse that comes to me, and it's in Matthew, I think it's 18:10. It says, "Don't offend one of these least of mine, for their angels behold the face of my Father at all times."
And do you believe that people were traveling here to Bibb County outside of Bibb County for the acts that were happening in this county?
A lot of the people that we have in custody right now are more local, but as the investigation goes on, hopefully we'll be able to determine if there were people traveling from out of county, out of state, or wherever to come victimize these children. So it's not something I can answer right now, but it's something that these guys are diligently working on.
Do you have a message for, you said, you're expecting possible victims to come forward too. Do you have any message for those victims or the families of the victims to encourage them to come forward?
I would say no child deserves this. That's the most horrible thing you can do, the power and control of it, the stealing the innocence of a child and the horrible victimizations they went through with these monsters. I would say it's like the old saying, if you see something, say something. If you do think or suspect that there are children being victimized, contact us or your local law enforcement and make them aware. If it's nothing to it, we'll be glad to say it's not. But if there's something to it, God help us to protect these children.
Can you tell us about how long you think this enterprise was happening, from when to when?
The best we can determine at this point is it probably started somewhere around in 2022.
Wow. So you're talking about these children were victimized over and over and over through these years.
Yeah, and with the age range of the children, from 3 to 10, some of them come in as they got old enough to be desirable to a pedophile, I guess. And then some of them, their victimization started out when they were younger, and then they reached the age of 10.
And I know you said that most of these children, like the mothers, have been arrested also, but were any of these missing children anywhere that you know of?
That's not anything that I'm aware of, that they were missing, reported missing, or had been abducted or anything like that. I think the kidnapping charges would come from moving a child from one place to another, although the person that was supposed to be their caretaker knew where they were going. But just for you to move that child for a felony purpose from one place to another, that would reach the level of kidnapping.
Sheriff, Sarah Terrell, Dalton Terrell, and Ricky Terrell, are they related, and if so, how?
Yeah, they're related. I'm not sure exactly how they're related. Brothers, sisters, aunts, I don't know.
What about the children? You've been in your business, you said, a long time. What's in store for them? I know they've been taken away, they're in a safe place, but in terms of counseling, what is their immediate future going to look like?
Well, been in contact with counselors, and they're getting the help they need, the medical help they need, the emotional and psychological help that we can best provide them. That for the younger kids, I'm hoping this is a blurry memory, because some of the statements of the children, they were unable to remember certain things, and then things would come to mind. And some of the older children, they'll carry this vividly for the rest of their lives. So all we can do is the best we can by them to help them get past this. You can't heal from this, but you can move on as best you can, and we're going to see, along with the Department of Human Resources, that these children get everything they can to have the best life that they can.
You mentioned that these were kids that were in schools here and stuff, so they were leaving and going to school and having that sort of life also.
Yes.
Are there any, adults other than their parents or so-called caretakers that maybe fail these children, school officials, anything like that? And could they be criminally liable for this?
Not that I'm aware of, because normally, if something's going on or something looks out of place, they call us immediately, because we have a very good working relationship with them, as we do DHR. It's a small county. They'll call my cell phone and say, "Hey, Jody, this little girl's missed 3 days of school, and she's had some bruises when she come in." And then we'll see. We work very well with them. I'm not sure there was any indication, and as in any case like this, sometimes the victims are reluctant to come forward. They're afraid they're going to get in trouble. Their victimizers have control over them. They are their caretakers, and they still, some care about their parents.
But no report to school or anybody else about this. That's a job.
I do not think that there was anything at the school that led anybody there to think that there was anything wrong at home. They would certainly have contacted us immediately, I can promise you.
What about you guys? Counseling made available to these gentlemen, or perhaps even you?
If they had time, they would probably get some. They had open. I guarantee you they've seen these poor children more than they've seen their own. They were calling me last night after we met for a couple hours yesterday. They were calling me last night at midnight, giving me updates on what was going on and talking about their concerns. We met at my house so we could just kind of sit and talk and then give me some more updates on the case in preparation for this conference. And then, of course, we had a lot of personal talks. And it's hard to sit there and talk to your chief investigator while he's holding your 9-month-old about something horrible that happened to another little child that doesn't have as good as ours do.
Can we hear from either one of them? If they're okay with it, or are you okay with them just telling us how it's been for them through these months of investigation?
That is absolutely up to Justin and Chris.
My only request is, could you step to the
Yeah.
podium?
Absolutely.
Just give us your name again real quick in case anybody missed it before.
I'm Christopher Poole.
How long have you been with the sheriff's department?
I started the sheriff's office in 2017.
So just, what's this been like for you?
It's been heartbreaking. It's been heartbreaking. It's very sad. We don't want to see any children ever have to go through this. As Sheriff said, we all have children of our own. God puts us at the place that we need to be put at that time, and I think me and Justin, our agency, has been put there, and we're going to do everything we can. And my only message to all of the victims, know we are fighting for y'all, and the voice, we're going to help you find it. We're going to help you find it, and we're going to put everybody who has done any wrong to any child in this county away. Our sheriff is very supportive of that. When we notified him immediately of this, he immediately told us, go and handle it. Go handle it. You investigate it to the fullest. And that's what we intend on doing.
How do you leave this at the door when you go home and not take it home to your own kids and your wife?
You got to keep the faith. Faith is a strong thing that you got to keep through this.
At what point during the investigation did you and your partner, and perhaps even the sheriff, realize, was it day one back in February? At what point did you realize this was huge?
Yeah, so in February, we knew any child abuse is serious to us, but we noticed that it started getting bigger the second arrest that we made. Once we was interviewing Dalton Terrell, he ended up giving us a lot of information, and we started investigating a lot more.
Have all of the suspects confessed?
Multiple ones of the suspects have confessed. There is a couple that has not.
Would you mind? You good with it? Thank you, I appreciate that. Just say your name for us real quick.
My name is Justin Hobbs.
Okay, and how long have you been with the sheriff's department?
I've been with the sheriff's office about a year now.
Just tell us what this has been like for you.
Hard to put into words, honestly. It's hard to put into words. It's hard to describe.
I mean, the sheriff has said this is the against children he's ever seen. He's been doing it a lot longer than you, so this could be the worst thing you've ever seen, and you've only been here a year, so it's got to be pretty shocking to deal with.
I would agree with that. Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to share with us any expressions from the children once they realize they have been rescued?
I would prefer not to, just to protect their well-being.
How do you not take this home? I mean, how do you leave it at work when work seems to last a long time anyway?
I would say taught me very well. Leave it at the house and try not to take it home.
As somebody that lives in this community, and like she said, you've only been doing this for a year now, what kind of sentiment do you have to say to people outside this county to let them know that this such a dark and twisted thing, but it's not all of Bibb County, correct?
That's correct. This is a beautiful county. It's filled with a lot of natural beauties. We have things here that you won't find anywhere else in Alabama. You have the Cahaba lily, which is the shoal lily that you see on the Cahaba. I've met people from Indiana, Wisconsin, Maine that have come here for college trips to see those things and the beauty that's here, and the people here are great. So,
Justin, are you able to address whether y'all are having to make special arrangements for the suspect to put him in solitary confinement or any of the suspects on suicide watch?
I don't think that's something I'll be able to answer. Not at this time. I wouldn't know that information.
Are you able to clarify if Dalton Terrell is related to Rick Terrell and Sarah Terrell?
I think refer to how the sheriff answered the question is probably best.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Anything you wanna finish with, Sheriff, or do you feel like you got everything in there you needed to?
I think that about covers it, unless y'all have any other questions. I mean, the guys have done a great job. I'm very proud of them. They're doing awesome. He's got many years in law enforcement. He's just been with us for a year right now. So they're very good. They're very capable. And unfortunately, the only credit I can take in this case is hiring the right men to do the job. They've done great.
Based on what you know, you don't have to speak at the mic, but based on what you know at this point, do you anticipate another round before, like another multiple arrests, or is it going to sort of trickle down, if you will, at this point?
I think we've gotten to a point where we've got the known, absolute 100% known suspects in custody, and now it goes into a little bit more lengthy, in-depth, trying to discover if there are other offenders. I know they've got leads on some people, and I would encourage them to come forward before we come find you.
Okay. Kids ages from 3 to 10, so far about 15, right?
Mhm.
Wow.
15 kids, is that what you're saying?
15 children.
15.
No, age range.
Oh,
The
10 children.
Yes, total number of children is 10, yes.
Gotcha.
And the age range is 3 to, what's the max there?
A lot of them are 3 to 10, and then we've got a 15-year-old, and of course, when you reach that age, you've been abused for some time up until that point. So we're just kind of giving a vague age range of the known victims.
Okay.
But the total is 10. 10 children.
Right now.
Yeah.
Are all 10 of those children females, or are they males and females?
Males and females. That was a good question. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.